Good morning and welcome to Sonoran Living Live. I'm Stephanie Sandoval. Thanks for making us part of your day. Well, new parents take extra strides to pamper and protect their little ones, but when they pass that toddler stage, we really don't think about their skin that much. We tend to not use lotions as much, and of course we put the sunscreens on, but it feels like we just kind of let go of that little precious skin. So today our friend Dr. Jennifer Lindner is here with some things that parents should be doing from the beginning all the way until basically they leave for college and beyond.
Exactly.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's talk a little bit about how early we should start our skincare with our kids.
So I think even down to 6 months of age, you got to be thinking about it. 6 months is when we say as dermatologists we're comfortable having you put sunscreen full body on them. Before that, just hands and faces when you know you're going to be in the sun. Otherwise, you should be really protecting them.
And beyond sunscreen, let's kind of fast forward from newborn to, let's say,
your toddler. So once they start brushing your teeth, that's when I think is the right time to start introducing skincare. And what I mean by that is teach them to wash their face. When they're in the bath, focus on washing the face so it becomes a fun little thing that you do together. And then maybe at bedtime again, when they brush their teeth, do it as well. When they first start doing it, just like teeth, they're not going to do it so well. But if you teach those habits early, when they start getting that little baby acne around age 10 or 11, they're not going to do as poorly.
Well, now let's fast forward to the 10 or 11 stage that you talked about, and what kind of soaps and what kind of skincare should we be using, because they're still kind of young. They maybe don't have like full-fledged acne or major skin issues.
So often what happens, I think parents make a mistake in thinking that you have to have your kids be squeaky clean, and it's actually the opposite. You want to use non-soap cleansers, things that are gentle, because that's actually going to be healthier for their skin. And then you're also teaching kids that their skin doesn't have to be squeaky. I was taught that when I was a kid, like, oh, it should be like squeaky. But it shouldn't be. It should be just kind of feeling soft and moist. So if you use non-soap cleansers early, they're going to know what their skin's supposed to feel like.
Does your skin, you talked about pH balance before. Can you kind of get that out of whack if you start using cleansers that are too harsh or toners at too young of an age?
Absolutely. If you start using, let's say you're using Irish Spring or Dial or all these antibacterial soaps on your face when you're young, your body's going to compensate by making more oil. When that starts happening, you might actually trigger acne at a younger age.
Ooh, we don't want that.
We definitely don't want that.
Well, but even when, let's say let's fast forward to maybe 13 or 14, when they do unfortunately develop acne, what can we do to address that? And secondly, the cleaning of the face, even when you do have the problems, sometimes it's still not a priority for the teens.
Right, and often I find that with kids, to really get after acne, they have to kind of be interested in maybe a little boy or a little girl, and sometimes that's when they want to start clearing it up. That's why teaching those habits when they're young, so it's part of their routine, rather than you're trying to start teaching them to do that when they're a teenager, when they don't want to have anything to do with you, is the reason to start the habits younger. Because then they have the habits going into their teenagers.
Well, there's so many different products now, that, especially with the PCA line, that are good for adults. Are these same products good for maybe the 10-year-olds or the 13-year-olds when we see problems start to emerge?
Absolutely. So a well-designed skincare line should be beneficial for adults or little people, because it should have safe ingredients in it, designed to keep things healthy rather than doing aggressive, harsh things. Instead, you want to have those anti-inflammatories, those nice, gentle things. And so that's where we use non-soap cleansers, what I recommend on a regular basis. And when those little bits of acne first start coming out, usually in teenagers, it's tiny little bumps on the forehead. That's when I start doing things like salicylic acid up to about 2%. You can use tea tree oil. You can even start using a little bit of benzoyl peroxide up to 5% if they start getting the little red bumps.
Truthfully, though, most parents go, when they see this develop on their kids, they don't want them to have to go through the embarrassment of it, so they run to the drugstore and they pick up
everything.
Claricel, whatever the other one is, all the over-the-counter stuff.
So the thing is to keep it simple at first, because often people do too much at once. They grab everything, the Stridex, the Oxy, and they're throwing everything on. You dry the skin out too much, and then also overproduces oil and makes the whole thing worse. So if you stick with a nice gentle cleanser, a little salicylic acid, and teach washing the face on a regular basis, a non-comedogenic, non-pore blocking sunscreen, you're going to start doing okay. And then if you start getting those more papules and pustules, that's when you can consider going to the dermatologist.
Perfect. from a young age. Teach them to wash their face, and then just get that instilled in them. Thank you so much for coming in.
My pleasure.
If you want to get a hold of Dr. Lindner, you can give her a call at 480-946-7939, and you can find out more information about the PCA products that she uses and highly recommends at abc15.com. Look for this information under the Style tab. Well, it's Freebie Friday, and up